Hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Justin.
We're Bear on the keyboard, and this is
A bar rant.
All right, another day, another bar rant. You know what I'm saying?
Another day, another dollar. No dollars.
Hope you guys are enjoying these random conversations Justin and I have on your Friday mornings.
I hope you guys are too. Let us know how much you're enjoying them. Let us know if you got ideas, topics that you'd like to hear us talk about. Actually.
You know what? Yeah, good point. You know, we just kind of talk about our interests, but if you guys have something that we might be interested in, fucking A, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it.
Throw some stuff out there.
Leave a comment below, or if you're on Spotify, I don't know, I'll put up a poll or something. So, because you can listen to us on Spotify or on YouTube, just so you guys know.
Leave your comments there.
And some other places, I think, too.
If you're on Spotify and you have an idea, fucking just hop over to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment.
Hell yeah, there you go.
And fucking let us know what topic you'd like to hear us talk about. Because honestly, even if we're not interested in it, I think if we see the same thing enough, we'll fucking talk about it.
Yeah, for
Why
sure.
not?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know about this guy. I do know about this guy.
You know about this guy.
I like to talk about shit, so whatever. I can find interest.
Never mind.
In
you don't know about this guy.
He doesn't like to do anything.
I hate all this shit. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do jack shit all fucking day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Still, you're really considering like this new goal of yours of like just becoming the fattest man.
World's fattest man, yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Did you ever see that old picture of the world's fattest man? It was at like a freak show or something from like the turn of the century.
Yeah.
And people have been like, this guy was the world's fattest man in 1907 or whatever. It's like, that's not even the fattest guy I saw today. And I haven't left the house. Anywho, so yeah, I got actually a topic that's pretty near and dear to me, something that I'm really passionate about, game archival, and effectively companies fucking that up actively for the consumers. So as we all know, great works of art, you and I were just talking about the Mona Lisa right before we started this podcast.
Which I guess there's opinions out there that it's meh, but
that it's mid as fuck, dude, no cap.
So interesting.
Yeah. You and I actually both had the opportunity to see that in person, which is neat, but also at the same time, we're like, yo, it's such a non-cool experience.
So unfortunately, it's really underwhelming because of all the shit around it, including like the crowd constantly around it.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah. So anyway, we know that these great works of art have methods of being preserved, right? You can hang up a painting in a museum. You can put a statue in a museum. You can put
douse them with acid, light them on fire.
You can douse something in acid and light it on fire.
Sorry, that's the visual art that I'm working on.
Yeah, it seems fun. Let me know how that project goes for you.
Bet.
But then when it comes to like stuff like movies, even we have like the Smithsonian has a list of things that they consider like culturally relevant, and they keep an archive of those things. Same goes with, photographs obviously can go into museums and go in lots of places as well. Old documents too, like again, going back to the Smithsonian, can be kept behind, plated glass and be preserved for fucking forever.
Forever, yeah.
But video games are one of those things where they're kind of unique.
Shit.
What's that?
I said we're fucking mummifying like fucking shit.
Yeah, basically. Video games are kind of interesting. Video games are really interesting in my opinion because they have limitations on multiple levels. Like a movie, I guess a movie is kind of the same way, whereas as long as if you don't have the equipment to play that movie, you can't play that movie.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Like you lose things like with older movies, but even now, like with movies, they're kind of going to fall in the same realm that you're about to talk to. We'll get to that. Keep going about video games.
So with video games, they have the hardware component to them and then the software component to them, and both those things need to be preserved in their own way. It's quite easy for us to preserve the software component because we have the technology to dump ROMs off of cartridges. Mm-hmm. So we can take a cartridge that had a video game on it at one point. I don't know. We'll talk about fucking Super Mario World just for shits and giggles, right? You can plug in Super Mario World's. Yeah, there you go. It's a very tiny version.
Anyways,
Yeah.
you can still hear it in the background.
Yeah. I was gonna put it way back here.
Oh, where it gets louder because it's echoing.
Yeah, it's like reverbing off the wall now. Do-do-do. Thanks for that.
I love that noise. That noise is a big part of my childhood. So
Yeah, there's like a Pavlovian reaction to that, I think, too. So anyway, though, you can take Super Mario World Super Nintendo cartridge. You can plug that into a device, lets you hook that up to a computer, and you can dump the ROM off of that onto a computer,
Right.
preserve that as a file.
there's a problem even in that though. Like you can, but then you've got you've got that hard copy,
Yeah,
but also you've got this file that can just be fucking eradicated.
yeah, true.
Easily eradicated.
Yeah. Hence why it's kind of important to let things like that proliferate, because the more copies of those things exist, the less likely for them to all go away simultaneously. So you can do that, but you can't do that with the hardware. There is emulation software that does emulate the hardware, but it doesn't play it perfectly, pixel perfect, or frame by frame the way that it was originally designed to be played. It just emulates the hardware.
Yeah.
And then so we do have these options, but these options are constantly getting just ground down by corporate lawyers. They're constantly saying, no, we can't do this, we can't do that. Even though, strictly speaking, there was a lawsuit that happened a while back, and the judges ruled in favor of people being able to make copies of their software. As long as you don't proliferate them, is the problem, though. So if somebody was, for example, if I was to take all my Nintendo 64 cartridges, get the device to do it, dump that all onto my computer, those are all legal ROMs for me to possess, according to the precedence that was made in this lawsuit.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because you're just backing up your stuff that you've paid for and you own.
Exactly. They've considered it like a backup.
You're not making multiple files and fucking selling it. You're not handing it out to people for free.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You're just archiving your shit that you own, and I feel like that's fair.
I think so too. But even in the situation of, well, okay, it's legal because you're not doing those things that you mentioned, but why? Especially considering game companies have the choice to remove things from their own marketplaces constantly.
So, yeah.
That makes it so that some things become unavailable the longer time goes by. Some things that maybe aren't as well known, like Super Mario World is always going to be accessible in one way or another. Nintendo is going to always have the option for you to play Super Mario World in some form or another because of its huge popularity and lasting impact on the video game industry.
It is literally the #1 selling game for that system.
Yes.
Like the number one, and it's a fantastic video game.
Yeah, it is. It's culturally important. It's important for video games. It's it's relevant.
Yeah.
But the issue with that is sometimes games that maybe are quite good or have some technical or artistic achievements in them, but were never as popular, are always going to get lost in the dust when it comes to that.
Clay Fighters.
Clay Fighters is a fantastic example. Yeah. That was a 64 game, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Was that made by that wasn't made by the same team that did Killer Instinct, was it?
No.
Could have swore it was for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't want to get out on a tangent. I was just trying to throw out a thing.
Yeah.
A game, because I really like it, and I feel like artistically, it's a fucking gem, and it will be gone, lost.
It will be.
No, Clay Fighters came out on the Super Nintendo.
Was it on the Super Nintendo?
Yeah, I think they also had it on the 60.
They did have a Clay Fighter 64.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm familiar with. I was unaware of the one on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Just one console generation behind that, and suddenly I don't know what the hell you're talking about anymore. Exactly, kind of proves my point.
So, yeah, it's a gem of a thing. It's artistically, it's beautiful, but it's going to be lost. It's going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because people aren't going to... It almost seems like companies themselves want to choose what is popular for us and what isn't.
Right.
And to me, that's not fair for them to do that, but then also say, well, then you guys also can't swap old copies of things around that we've long since abandoned and aren't making money off of anymore.
And so I see what you're saying, where you're coming from. Now, if I have a hard copy of a game, and I give it to someone, that's not against the law.
No.
But I no longer have that.
Correct.
Now, if I make a copy of it and I give it away, well, now I'm just handing out free things. It's like, why didn't they buy that? It's not something that's buyable anymore.
Yeah.
fuck you. I don't think that should be against the law at all.
I don't think so either.
If it's something that you cannot purchase anywhere, then I should be able to free share the shit out of that.
Yeah, I agree.
I understand what you're saying. And I had to think about it and find where I stood in all of this. But
Okay.
like, if the company is like, we no longer make copies of it, we don't sell it anymore.
Yeah. They've effectively abandoned the
Like,
IP.
Then no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's as far as I'm concerned, that's basically saying fair use. I don't want to make money off. I don't think you should be able to make money off of it.
You can't resell that, like, for
Don't
example.
resell it,
Or
yeah.
copies of the ROM or whatever.
Yeah, like you can't resell copies of it, but you can give copies away because fucking people should be able to have that.
Yeah.
That's yes.
Okay.
That's what I think about.
I feel like we're on the same page in regards to that, 100%. Because, as I said previously, once you cannot access this by legal means, you're only left with the now considered illegal means to do this. And
I'm giving it away for free. I'm not making money off of a thing you've designed, created, still have copyright holding to or anything like that. I'm just giving it away so people can experience something that you don't want people to experience, aren't allowing people to experience anymore.
even if the company still has a copyright on it and still has the rights to this game or whatever, if they've chosen no longer to make money off of it, then they feel like they've kind of voided those rights. If you don't allow people access to this thing that you have control over, you're just hoarding it for nobody's benefit. And it's certainly not for archival purposes. I don't think games companies are corporations. They're designed to make money. They're an entertainment company. And so they're not going around saying, we're going to hang on to a copy of this because we think it will be good for the betterment of man and as a learning experience for where games have come from. They don't fucking do that. They don't care. They're just looking at about how they're going to make money off of it, and that is it. So, yeah, to me, once you've stopped making it available by legal means, the illegal means shouldn't be illegal anymore.
I mean, again, I'm willing to give a little here and be like, fucking don't sell it. Don't make money off of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment as well.
If it's a copy. If
Yeah.
you are selling your thing and getting rid of the hard copy, fucking collectors can pay for that.
Here's
That's
a fun
fine.
gray area. What if you dump a ROM off of your cartridge, have a copy of the software itself that you keep for yourself, but then sell the hard copy?
Again, the hard copy itself, I feel like it should be okay to sell.
Okay.
Having a copy of the thing, that's the same as if you sell it to them and then they just give you a copy of it.
Yeah.
No one's making money off the copy. They're only making money off the transfer of the hard copy of a thing.
Right.
That should be totally. That is legal. That's just collecting.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
I mean, yeah, secondhand sales have always been a thing.
Yeah.
Although companies are slowly but surely trying to,
Of course they are.
stop us from doing that because, of course, they want to have more control over what we have access to.
Yeah. But selling the hard copy, totally fine. And however much someone's willing to pay for it, fucking rock and roll. But the copy of it, like just a copy, no, that's free for everyone. Anyone that wants it can have that. If someone's willing to give them a free copy, fucking yeah, you can have that shit because you can't obtain it anywhere else unless someone who has a copy is willing to sell you a hard copy of it, and they might be asking way more than no, I just want to experience the game.
Yeah.
The archival aspect of it.
And especially considering, too, companies I don't think they even think about this, is they're not experiencing the game to its fullest potential. They're experiencing it via emulation or whatever.
Again, yeah,
which
they're
is not 100% the same thing.
It's not. It's being emulated. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, though, so I think that an issue that we're going to start coming around to finding is this modern. I mean, I think people have already noticed this, right? There's this modern trend in video games to have these online components where they have to connect to a server. You have to have some sort of online availability in order to play this game. There are some games that are strictly multiplayer that only have a multiplayer thing.
I mean, yeah, I make all the types of games you want to, but I see where you're coming from, or what you're leading up to. But I do feel like it's an issue where, I shouldn't have to connect to something to what's wrong with me just plugging something in and playing?
Yeah, I agree. What these games are doing is oftentimes they have these microtransactions in them where you can purchase this or that, or even your character's advancement, even without microtransactions, is saved on their server in some way. And by just shutting down those servers, you lose all of that you put into it, all the time and the money that you put into it. And there's no way to go back and play this game later, you know what I mean? Unless somebody wants to like create a custom server for this game that they've done themselves and invite just their buddies into it, you know, but that's way more difficult than the other thing we were talking about with the emulation and ROMs and stuff like that.
I mean, and even with that, like, you know, you choose to dump the money in this and then it's just taken away from you. It's like, the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm paying for entertainment, and the only reason you're taking this away is because you want to.
Yeah. Because they know they want to sell the next version of it.
Right.
That keeps that grind constantly happening. Like, look at the Call of Duty series, for example. All the stuff that you can do in multiplayer, it's always getting replaced by the next iteration of Call of Duty, and people have to move on to that because the old servers get shut down, and then you lose all your progress, and you got to start over, and then suddenly you're in deep with a bunch of other microtransactions before the next one comes out, and now you have to start over again. So it's constantly making it so people have to be putting money into it.
Look, honestly, I'm fine with your greed as a company. Like, you're designed to make money and all of that, but like, put some thought behind this.
Yeah.
Like, have some thoughtfulness behind this, to state that more appropriately. Because maybe I like this iteration better.
Yeah.
So what if this is your newest iteration? I play that, I grind at that. If I'm a fan of a series, I'm gonna play the fucking series. But if I like this one better, that's the one I want to play. Why can't I fucking roll around and still give you money to play this iteration?
Right. I think that there's
because there's not enough ways to make servers, and that's what the fuck there isn't.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's infinite space out there. I know, because it's all just magical and made up. It sounds ridiculous, but think about it.
I mean, there are some factors in terms of physical space that do limit.
There are
servers,
definitely limit servers, but you can still create. You don't have to destroy the server. You don't have to shut the server down.
Yeah.
Make another server.
Yeah.
I mean, you're making another server anyways.
Yeah, I think at the bare minimum, some, like you said, thoughtfulness to their consumers would be extremely helpful in these kind of situations. Like, maybe you spend enough money on the last version of this game, you get the new iteration for free. You don't get all the progress pushed over from your previous one. So you still do have to spend money on those microtransactions, but you're not buying the game anymore. You get it for free because you spent enough money on the last one.
Yeah,
like, that seems like a fair balance to me. Maybe say, fuck it, you still have to pay for the new one. We're shutting down the old servers, but we're going to rotate your character and their stats at least as close as we can to this new version.
Yeah, we're going to pull in, you're going to, in multiplayer, you're going to get a little bit of a boost because your character stats are transferring over.
Yeah.
I think they could do either of those pretty easily. The one they could do the easiest is be like, look, man, you gave us a grand. You gave us a grand.
Yeah.
In microtransactions, and we're taking away all of that from you. Here's the game.
Yeah.
Here's the next iteration. You got to grind again. If you want to spend the money or grind it out. But here's what's $70 out of a grand worth on top of them already buying the game?
Still a $930 profit.
Fucking come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a grand idea.
Yeah. But
that's a very good idea.
Yeah. I mean,
but like I said, thoughtfulness.
Yeah, and this is more of like trends that that video game companies have been having lately, where they're not treating their consumers very well, and that really doesn't have much to do with the topic at hand, except for the fact that they can just pull shit whenever they want. When it comes to game archival, there are games that are online only, and you've only experienced them in that way. And as soon as whether there's microtransactions or whatever or not, you experience them that way, and then the game's gone, and it's gone. It's unplayable. Like, I got a copy of Massive Action Game for the PlayStation 3. It was a really cool concept when it first came out. 256 player battles it boasted. Massive, right? Huge, massive action game. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
They wanted to simulate this experience of being in this chaotic battlefield. And
sounds dope and terrifying.
yeah, it's both those things. And it's a fucking coaster now. Like, that disc I have is worthless because the server is shut down.
And
it's
it's
not like they
only-
ever made a sequel.
Only playable on the server.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's stupid. It's wall
It
art.
has no single player
You said
campaign at all.
you said a coaster. It's wall art. It's yeah.
Yeah, I should get it framed and just hang it up. That'd be fun.
The concept of the game, it reminds me, buddies in 6th grade, we used to pass around a large sheet of paper,
Huh?
and we would be drawing a battle on it, stick figure battles.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And everybody just expands on it and
characters,
adds
yeah,
more.
we just like hand it off, and we like add, someone gun. There's a little scene happening here.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
There's a little tank blowing up a pillbox over here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's damn. When you said the concept of the game was, I was like, that reminds me of a thing that we did in paper to keep ourselves busy during class because you're not paying attention.
Right. Of course not. That's stupid. That's boring.
To be fair, we're paying attention and doing this. Could you imagine if we were giving our full attention to that shit? They could teach us so much quicker.
Yeah, but they teach you a bunch of bullshit in school anyway.
There's a lot of shit that they're saying in between. There's a lot of filler. All filler, no killer, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of filler and just a lot of, like I said, like just bullshit. Like, they don't teach you any real world skills.
I mean,
I saw this thing the other day actually, where it was like, all right, here's the recorder, and you're gonna learn how to play it. It's like, man, I wish I could learn how to like do taxes or whatever. All right, so put it up to your mouth and then blow on it. What kind of healthcare should I get? Hot cross buns.
Right?
It's like, no, for real.
I mean, that's the other thing. Like, we would like shove economics, at like the last fucking stretch of our schooling.
Yeah, it only comes out at like high school. Then you start learning about
And,
like
like,
personal economics.
And like the last fucking stretch.
yeah, like your
too.
senior year in high school.
Like,
Yeah,
what I don't understand is fucking my brain's a goddamn sponge.
yeah.
At this time, teach me this shit earlier.
Yeah.
Like as I'm going through math, like make it a part of my math shit.
If they related everything math into like money terms and like real world examples, that would have been so much better for me.
That
Because
would be
I
beneficial.
like practical stuff. And so the
yeah.
practicality of like, here, okay, we're going to learn how to do this, and here's how it's going to be important for you. It's like, oh, now you've piqued my interest.
Yeah, like these charts and these percentages and all of that matters because, you're trying to get a loan, this, that.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you're going to be like, I don't want a loan for something. You're going to explain, you're like, no, you do, because like your parents take out a loan to do this, that. Like you explain all of that when you're a kid. You might be like, but I'm not going to need that. It's like you will need that when you get older. You might not be able to comprehend that. You're still going to learn this stuff. And as you get older and you've got that shit just in your dumb brain, your dumb sponge of a brain, and you get older and you're
dumb brain sponge.
like,
You're stupid, dumb, fucking little kids, stupid ass, shitty brain.
fucking you're like, I don't know.
Smack them upside the head.
You're like, I don't know why I know how to do this really well, and I have this information, and it's like whatever to me. But as you get older, you hit, and you're like, I understand this immediately. You're gonna buy your first car, and then you're never going to have to worry about a car again because you'll fucking, make the payments on it, get to a certain point where you can trade in, get that money, and you've got the next new car. You have a new car for like 4 years, and then you get the next new car, and you just have that cycle. You never have an issue. You'll fucking get a house with no problems. Someone's gonna ask you about a loan, and you'll be like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly what all of the interest rates and all that shit means. No problems. You'll know how to do your fucking taxes. That should be taught so fucking early because it's very necessary.
And honestly, I took personal economics, and they don't teach you how to do your taxes.
They don't teach you that. I know.
Yeah, you got to figure that shit out on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is, like...
Should be part of the curriculum. If they're going to require us to do our taxes, they should be required to teach it to us for our tax money.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that's fair.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is a hell of a tangent.
Yeah, really went wide on that one.
I can't help it. All right. We're going to circle back to the archiving of video games.
Yeah, so the Massive Action game, though, beautiful game. I think it would be awesome if people were able to experience it, but there's just no way. And that's kind of one of the issues with the always online experience that more modern games will be facing pretty rapidly. Like, I mean, everyone who's all jazzed on Fortnite, guess what? Epic Games, pretty sure it's Epic that does Fortnite, is going to make like a Fortnite 2 at one point, and they're going to shut down the servers on the first one. And Fortnite had like a really was like really relevant to the social zeitgeist for a while. It was a very important game. Like terminology and and dances and stuff like that came from Fortnite, and we go, oh, okay, it came from that. But like that, they're never going to have that connection if you go, 10, 20 years on, because it's long fucking gone.
Yeah.
Even though some of the things it may have done to society are still sticking around for better or worse.
So like the archival these games are going to get is not their full potential of archival. They're going to get it in fucking videos that people have made, and you can go back and you're like, oh, so that's what it's from. And it's like neat, but fucking I can't experience that.
Games are meant to be played, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The pinball museum that we have out in Portland, it's a museum. They collect many things. They allow you to play all of these games because games are meant to be played.
The pinball museum fucking over in Vegas as well. Same thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Both awesome museums, by the way.
Yeah.
Very cool places.
If all this stuff was just behind glass and you could just look at it from a distance, and it's like, well, what's the fucking point?
Neat. Yeah. You're just you're bragging as a collector is all you're doing at that point.
Yeah.
Art is meant to be
experienced.
Yeah. And so if it's a painting on the wall, you experience that by looking at that, studying it, and enjoying it. A video game is something you interact with physically.
Right.
Fucking do that.
Yeah.
Be able to do that. Find ways to maintain. The maintenance is there. It's still out there. You can do that. If you have a thing, you maintain that and you let it be playable.
Yeah.
Like fucking do the shit, man.
Yeah. And I don't know, companies, it seems like they're trying their hardest to keep some of the things from their past away from us, and it's like whether you like it, I don't know. I even have an issue, as much as I like the remakes of the Resident Evil games, like the more recent ones. As much as I love them, I feel like it's Capcom trying to erase their own past and replace it with this new, more well-polished version. And it's like, we miss a little bit of that jank. Don't get me wrong, these modern games that they're making are very fun, very well put together, but there's something to be said about the originals and where it came from. And this constant cycle of remakes and pulling older versions of things out of markets. Like when the Silent Hill 2 remake got released, Konami pulled all their Silent Hill stuff off of digital markets, so you can't even they can't access the original one. They want you to buy the remake instead. And I'm like, wait, no, this doesn't make any sense. If somebody plays the remake, they might want to see what the original one is, and then have an interest in it and learn from it and see how it's grown.
So here's
changed at all.
Like,
really.
Here's my thing: like when these things were originally released, they're like cutting edge. They came out.
Everything's cutting edge for its time, sure, yeah, and then times change, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, that's awesome. And so for us, it's like a nostalgic thing. Now, for a kid who's like, that looks terrible. Mm-hmm. Sure, maybe it does. Fine, don't introduce them to that. They get this remake. They play the remake. They love the remake. And they get so deep into the lore and they love the shit out of it. They're 100% going to be like, I am so grateful that my fucking parents have an original copy because I get to see, like, what's available, what's there, how this works out. I get that.
Get to witness the evolution for
I get to see where it came from, and it's fun to go back and play that, and I see why, my love of it. I inherently love this.
Yeah.
Like, don't take that away from the child growing who like latches onto something and they love an IP so much that they're like, I want to know everything about it.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Off the wall example in the sense that, I guess it's still art. Music. I fell in love with the Halo Benders.
Okay.
It's a band that's
sounds like a band you would like.
Out of Olympia. Fell in love with them, and then as I studied more of that band, as you do, you're like, who's in this band? What do they do? Who plays what? One of my, which I'm gonna shout out, one of my like heroes or idols, if you will. And I don't really like idol. But one of my heroes, Calvin Johnson, is part of the Halo Benders.
Football player?
Not the football player.
Oh, okay. Like, didn't he play for the Bengals?
No relation. Well before his time. So he loves music. He started a radio station back in the very early '80s. Like it was just a college radio station.
Okay.
But he started that, and then he started a new wave punk band. That's what they called the sound of it. It was in the mid '80s that he did this, and it's not the best. I love listening to it. It's a little obscure. It's not the best, but it's fun and all of that. But my appreciation for it comes from my love of this band that I fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like it more than someone else might like it and
Yeah.
hear it and go, that's not exactly good. I'm
'Cause
like,
it's
I know
built
it's
on
not.
that foundation of appreciation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, like, but so that's, I don't need to go into more details about it. I just like, that's an example of like what I'm talking about that I experienced as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I fucking love this shit.
Yeah.
I want more.
Yeah. So I really do not understand. Like, yeah, that's a perfect example of why I don't understand why a company would just decide to remove
take that
their
away.
older products to try and
The company
replace
needs
it.
to look at it's like that's again have a little more thoughtfulness. They need to look at the products that they're making as the art that they are,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
have that overbearing like it's all about that money.
You can't erase the past either. As much as companies want to try and do
But
that,
again, they removed the shit.
yeah, they're trying to erase their past.
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's out there.
It's still
You're
there,
just-
and it's the reason why this remake is getting built is because of our love for the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what we're asking for. We're not asking you to take away the past.
Yeah.
I mean, and another example is like Harry Potter. That first book is fucking a terrible write.
Really bad book. Yeah.
Like it's not written well.
No.
The concepts and the ideas behind it, you're like, this is
cute,
this is
fun,
a
yeah.
cute story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She got better at writing as she wrote the series.
Uh-huh.
The last book is written better than the first book. Yeah, doesn't mean you get rid of that first book. It built what came. Granted, that's a whole ass story that's being told, but even still, you don't go back and rewrite the book. It's
No.
already there.
It's already there. Yeah.
You do remakes of video games. I get that because you're updating the graphics and stuff like that, and you can do things that you weren't able to do when you have these ideas. It doesn't mean you fucking eradicate what
What came before. Yeah.
what made the reason why you want to do this remake, like you were saying.
Yeah. So there you guys have it. Video game archival. It's important to me. Demand that companies give us access to these older things, and if they won't allow that, at least they should allow us to, as consumers,
Back up our stuff, and also
proliferate that, and
ju-
let people
yeah.
experience a game that they've never had a chance to experience because it's not available anywhere
They should
anymore.
allow us to they should be okay with the free share of their fucking beautiful piece of work that we love so much. We want other people to enjoy,
And that they're not even making money off of anymore.
and exactly, they're not. If you can buy it, be like, yeah, go buy it. I'm not going to steal their option of making the money. They're not making money off of it anymore. Fucking yeah, you can have this shit. Have that, play that. You should experience this. They're gonna experience it and go, holy shit, yeah, I want to get this remake of this game, or
Yeah.
I want to look more into this IP, or I want to look more into what this company makes.
Yeah. Conversation for a different day, but honestly, there's evidence to show that video game piracy has only increased the amount of revenue that the industry has. So that's actually something to look
Conversation
into.
for another day.
Yeah.
That piracy in general.
I'm kind of on the pro side. Hot take.
I'm going to tell you right now, piracy in general, conversation for another day, because I'm going to say for all
Media.
mediums in that situation.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll do that another day.
All right. What do you like to say here on Bear on the Keyboard?
Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.